Hey, welcome everybody. This is the first episode of a 9-part series, 9 episodes. Over the course of many years, I've had a bunch of questions about how I do things, and I've made some promises that I would put something like this together. Most of the questions that I've had is regarding brisket. That'll be the next episode. That's the first cooking episode. But today we're going to be talking about equipment. Okay, we're going to be talking about all the ticky-tack stuff, the grill grates, the grill grate pullers, and the grill brushes and cleaners and all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to be talking about the pellets I use. We're going to talk about starting up a brand new grill, a Traeger 22. That's what I use. I now have 2. You're gonna see them both. Proper cleanup after a cook, and then maintenance. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into the cost. If you don't have a smoking setup and you're curious about how much it costs to get set up, I'm gonna go ahead and put that picture up right now. So here's a breakdown of all the costs of the equipment that I use. Feel free to take a screenshot of this for reference. So if you wanted to start right now from nothing, you could use all the links down in the show notes, and you could get everything that you're about to see for $900. $900, and you're up and running. Are there more expensive things that you can get? Yes. Are there less expensive things you can get? Yes. This is all the equipment that I use. I'm going to introduce it here in just a second. And I'm going to introduce why I choose those particular items. What I'm after is the best bang for the buck when it comes to the equipment that I use. I don't want to overspend on something that I'm just not going to use. I'm not going to be able to extract that value back out. At the same time, you don't want to buy junk, because if you buy junk, then you're throwing it away and then you have to rebuy it. Okay, so let's go ahead and step out to the table and let's run through some of the equipment. All right, everybody, we're out here at the table. We're looking at all of this stuff that was on that list. 3 things that are not here that are on the list because they're big. That's the grill itself. You're going to see that in a minute. The grill cover that I use. Keep your grills covered up. And the pellets. We're going to talk about pellets in just a second. Okay, so I didn't put any of this stuff on purpose on the list. I'm assuming that you're going to have your own favorite cutting boards and knives and all that type of stuff. So use what you have, or use what you like. This is kind of the stuff that I use. Nothing super fancy. One honorable mention is this knife sharpener made by Worksharp. This is the Ken Onion version. It's a belt that goes around like this, and you sharpen it back and forth like this. Invest in a good knife sharpener, guys. A lot of times when people run into having really dull knives, or they use the crappy knife sharpeners and stuff like that, they end up going through knives. They end up buying more knives. Use what you like, or use what you have. Make the investment in a good knife sharpener and keep your blades sharp all the time. Keep them sharp, okay? All right, let's go right into this stuff. Over here, this stuff right here, this is all for maintenance, okay? So we've got this is what painters and mostly blue collar people, they know what this is. It says 6-inch broad knife on it. It's also called a putty knife. Some people call it a spatula. Call it whatever you like, but it's made of metal. It's wide. This is meant for scraping and stuff like that when you're doing your big maintenance at the maybe once a year or once every 5 years, depending on how much you cook. Blue Scotch Brite, a small wire brush, and this is the 3-inch chimney brush. Okay, and then I've got a simple green barbecue cleaner. There are other barbecue cleaners out there. Just figure out what you like. This is what I'm using, and it works really good. This is what I recommend, but if you got something else that you like, use it. Blue shop towels. You could use paper towels, regular paper towels if you want. I like to use these for tougher jobs because they don't pull apart. They're a little bit more durable. They're a little bit more expensive, but not really all that much, okay? Grab a tube of that, use it every now and again, and then just put it away. Moving on to the stuff you're gonna use all the time, okay? This is 18-inch heavy-duty foil. You're gonna see me use this in just a minute when we start talking about the grill. You're also gonna see this later on in the brisket video when I make essentially a big envelope for the brisket. I use this all the time, okay? Heavy-duty foil, 18-inch. Smoke tube. This is for cold smoking. You could cold smoke anything you want in your grill, and you're gonna see me make cold smoked cheese later on in the series, okay? So you can do cold smoked salmon or cold smoke your hard-boiled eggs if you want, or whatever, but this is what you use, okay? Grill grabbers. There are a lot of different grill grabbers out there. This one with the hook is designed to go in the middle of the grill and you hook the grill, and I use this one to pinch the edge of it to move it around, okay? So these are the two that I use. Thermometers. These grills come with their own thermometers that they plug straight into the unit. You can walk over and push the button and figure out what temperature your meat's at. It works great. I cannot recommend enough to get thermometers that talk to your phone so that you can set alarms on your phone, okay? I got two different ones that I use here all the time. This is made by Chef IQ. This is a Wi-Fi thermometer, and what's great about that is I can stick that in my meat, and if I need to go run errands or something like that, and I'm doing like a brisket or a big pork shoulder, a big piece of meat that's in there for a long period of time, I can walk away from it and I can check in on it anytime I want, wherever I'm at, because this is hooked up to Wi-Fi. This one's just Bluetooth. Okay, so your phone's got to be kind of nearby for this one to work, but this is made by ThermPro, and it's got 2 different probes. Okay, there are some times where I'm using all of these at the same time, depending on what I'm doing. If for example I have got an entire rack of just nothing but chicken breast in there, I'm going to be using everything that I have to ensure that when one of those pieces of chicken is done, I go straight out there and I pull it, okay? So this is what I typically use pretty much all the time. If I'm gonna leave the house or anything like that, I'm gonna use this maybe in addition, okay? Grill brushes. There are so many different grill brushes out there. I've used all different kinds of grill brushes in the past. This is the one that I use, and the reason why I use this one is the tighter configuration of the wire bristles in here. You can get really cheap ones where, you know, maybe there's maybe a total of half of the amount of bristles, but they're all kind of spread out. There's other ones that you can get that are kind of spiral shaped and all different kinds. This is one that I use. I really like the amount of bristles, the hard bristles that are on this one. So this is the one that I use, and it's still pretty inexpensive. Okay, so gloves. This is 5 mil That's the thickness of the latex itself, 5 mil. You can go heavier than that if you want, but the heavier, you know, the 8 mil or anything like that, that's really designed more for automotive use or really abrasive places. You think about anybody who's doing something in the automotive field, their hands are in and out of a lot of small spaces with sharp metal all over the place. So they need something a little bit thicker. 5 mil allows some durability, the right amount of durability, but also the right amount of dexterity as well. Okay, so I use 5 mil nitrile gloves. Small vacuum. This small vacuum is pretty much the only way that I can think of to do proper cleanup the right way. And the reason why is it's small. It's essentially just like a shop vac. It's just like any other shop vac. So it has the power that you need. It's not like a little dust buster, a little toy. You don't want a toy for this, okay? You want something that's reliable long-term, that has enough power to get everything out that you need out, okay? And that's easy to clean. You just take this off and you dump it in the trash can, no sweat. Okay, so this is what I'm using for that. Okay, so this is just a small breakdown of all the little ticky-tack stuff. Next, we're gonna go outside and we're gonna go look at pellets. Let's go outside. All right, so we've talked about some of the equipment. Now we're gonna talk about the pellets that I use. I don't use Traeger pellets. There are a bunch of really great blends out there and all kinds of stuff like that. I prefer to mix my own. I've been smoking meat for many, many years. These are the two flavors that I prefer, so I just mix it myself. I get this brand, each bag, 20 pounds each, is about 12 bucks. Okay, so that's the reason I go with this. I mix it myself in a bin just like this, just a cheap plastic bin. And then once I have it mixed, I put it into this plastic bin, watertight. You can get the Traeger bins and all that other kind of stuff. They're about 40 bucks a piece. If that's what you want to do it. I had this laying around, so that's what I use. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this bag open. I'm going to dump in half. There's nothing scientific about this. Same thing here. I dump in half. Then I'm going to dump in the other half again. And then this doesn't get any easier. This is apple and cherry. And I'm just going to give this a good mix. Just toss it around. Again, you're not doing anything super complicated, anything like that. I use this bucket. This bucket always stays in here. And I use that to fill this. Okay, it's nice and easy. Get it filled up. Okay, put the lid on. This is ready to go. Okay. And then this gets closed up. Everything gets put away. What we're going to talk about next is seasoning the grill, which is going to require some patience. It's going to be a little bit over 2 hours. I'll see you then. All right, everybody. The first thing that we're going to talk about is what to do with the new grill. This is the Traeger 22. This is my second one. This is brand new. You can tell we've got some new stuff that it comes with. There's a procedure you have to go through first. You can't just start cooking. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna remove all this stuff. I'm just gonna set that aside. Take out the grills. Take out the grease pan. Take out the baffle. And we're gonna look inside here. You wanna make sure that there's nothing in here and nothing in here. There's gonna be a little bit of oil for manufacturing in here. Don't worry about that quite yet. We're gonna talk about that in just a second. Right now, you just wanna make sure there's no foreign objects in here, especially if somebody else has already put this together for you. You wanna make sure that there's none of this kind of stuff, no zip ties or anything like that down in here and down in here. Now, something really important that you have to understand about these grills, if you look at the grill itself, you'll notice that the grill is bigger than the grease pan. The grease pan is the size of your cooking area. That's really important to understand. You don't want to go in here thinking that you can just load this up like a gas grill or something like that, because what's going to happen is this essentially sits like this down in here, and if you have something really greasy over here, it's going to drip down inside the grill. Okay, so the grease pan is the size of your cooking area when this is all put back together. Now we're at the point right now where we need to wipe everything down a little bit. We're gonna season this grill at the end, but the first thing that we're gonna do, down inside of the pot, there's some oil for manufacturing. There's also oil on this grease pan. So what we're gonna do is do a simple wipe in the pot. I'm gonna take this inside, I'm gonna wash this with just soap and water, and that's it. And then we're gonna come right back. So, be right back. Okay, we're back. All I've done is done a simple wipe here. I've washed with soap and water the grease pan, and you can see that I've got a heavy foil, our heavy foil wrapped around this. This is the reason why I do this, is because when you go to clean this after big cooks and stuff like that, this area is a disaster. Okay, so this is how you prevent all that stuff, all the hard stuff getting adhered to it and creating a permanent mess. When we go to clean this, which we're gonna do in our next segment, we can simply just take this off, replace it, and put it right back in, no sweat. Okay, now, our first step, again, there's nothing in here. There's no pellets yet, there's nothing like that. We just wanna make sure that it's operational. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it to smoke. And what we're looking for is to make sure that the auger turns, and you might be able to hear the fan running. And we want to make sure that the fan is running and that this pot is starting to get hot. So we're just going to wait just a second and make sure this gets hot. Okay, so it's literally been maybe 60 seconds. It's already starting to heat up. I can see the auger turning in there. Everything's operational. So all we're gonna do now is turn it to shut down. Let the thing shut down. Don't unplug it. Don't do any of that. Just let it shut down by itself. So this is completely shut down. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the pellets that we had already talked about, pour it on in. This thing just shut down, so everything is still pretty hot. I'm gonna put it on smoke for just a second. Close that. And all I'm gonna look for is a little bit of turning with the auger. As soon as it turns just a little bit, I know that everything is running. And I'm gonna turn it to high. Okay, so there's a couple more steps, and it might seem like there's a lot of starting and stopping and this and that and all that other kind of stuff. Don't worry about it. Be patient. You only have to do this one time. Okay, the startup procedure is essentially to get it from manufacture to cooking. Okay, so you have to do it one time. There's a little bit more fuss. Just be patient. It's been 6 minutes. We've got pellets that are dropping into the hopper. Now we're going to shut this thing down again. Okay, like I said before, you're gonna have to be patient with this. We're gonna test your patience again. We've got a couple more cycles that we've got to go through. We'll be right back after this is completely shut down again. This has already gone through the shutdown procedure. Now we're ready for the next procedure that we need to go to. Now, all we're gonna do is hit smoke. We're gonna wait just a couple minutes, and wait for a little bit of smoke to come out of that pot. You might be thinking, why does this need to be turned off and on so many times and go through the shutdown procedure? Each shutdown procedure takes about 15 minutes, just the shutdown procedure alone. The reason why that is if you've got nothing in the auger for an extended period of time, this can alarm out. That's a safety feature, okay? So we have to reset the hopper and the auger and this whole entire system to make sure that this thing doesn't get confused. It does exactly what we need it to do. Now, all we need to do, like I said at this point, is wait for a little bit of smoke, and then we're gonna shut it down again, okay? It's only gonna take a couple of minutes for a little bit of smoke to come up. We're gonna shut it down, another 15-minute shutdown procedure, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, are you still with me? So I realize this is taking a long time. Like I said before, this is just what it is, okay? Everything that involves a smoker just takes time. Cooking meat and this whole procedure takes time too. Right now we're a little bit about an hour and a half in, and we still have one last procedure. The last procedure is to season the grill, okay? This is the end of this whole entire mess of things that we've got to do. So what we've got to do is reassemble. Baffle goes in. Grease pan goes in. This edge goes on that side, okay? This goes toward the bucket. So in we go. Make sure it's in evenly. Okay. Then the grill. What do we do with this? I don't use this. I don't need this. I think it's in the way, especially for this size of a grill. So I don't use it, okay? I'm only using this. Now the next thing we do, turn it to smoke. We're gonna wait for it to put out just a puff of smoke. It's only gonna take about 2 or 3 minutes. After that, crank it up to high and let it go for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, you put it down to shut down, let the thing shut down all the way. After it shuts down, after it's all cooled down and all that other kind of stuff, then I will take this all apart, vacuum out the ashes, close it all back up, put it all back together, close it all back up, cover it, it's done, okay? In our next segment, we're gonna talk about before and after cooking. So we'll see you in a bit. All right, before and after a cook. Before the cook is really simple. You uncover the grill because you covered your grill, right? Did you cover your grill? You got to keep these covered. Even if you have your grills underneath an awning, you think it's protected and all that, still keep them covered. Keep them covered, guys. It doesn't take even just a little bit of moisture to create a horrible mess. I'm going to put up a picture right here that shows 2 pellets that are the exact same size. The pellet on the left, I put in water for 60 seconds and took right back out, and that's what it turned into. Okay, when that dries back out, if moisture gets in here and makes it to that auger and that stuff starts to swell, it's going to end up like concrete in there. It's going to create a horrible mess. You're going to have to tear apart the entire grill. Just keep it covered instead, okay? Just be safe and keep it covered. You should always keep your other grills covered too, but it's very important for these grills. Okay, so we're on to the cook. You uncovered the grill. The very first thing you do, make positively sure that you got enough pellets in here. Don't run out of pellets during a cook. If you run out of pellets, you're gonna lose temperature. You're gonna run into all sorts of problems. You're gonna be really, really pissed, because you're gonna have to take this out and now finish in the oven or do something else. So make positively sure that you're filled up with pellets. Then you're gonna turn it to smoke. And then after just 3 minutes or so, you're gonna see a little bit of smoke come out of here. Then turn it to your cooking temperature, start cooking your meat. It's that simple. That's the benefit of using smokers like these. It's very, very easy. Now we're going to after the cook, okay? So I've already cooked something in here. As you can see, I've got all kind of mess in here. Cooked up some really good food. Now we're ready to start cleaning. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come over to my gas grill, turn on the propane at the tank. Always turn on and off your propane at the tank, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. There we go. Okay, and what I like to do, I'm gonna use my grill grabbers. Oh, here. I like to burn off the stuff on the grate on the gas grill. You don't have to do that. That's the way that I do it. If you want to use the sink or something like that, go for it. This is just the way that I do it. I like to burn it all off and then scrape it, okay? Now, I talked about in the previous segment that this grease pan can turn into a horrible mess. And there it is, a horrible mess. So I'm just gonna set this aside for now. I'm just putting it in the yard. Now out comes the baffle. I'm just gonna shake this off. Set this aside. Okay. So now I'm gonna come in here with my vacuum. I'm gonna start vacuuming out all the ashes. Make sure that when you use your vacuum, make positively sure you get that pot. That's the most important thing. Okay, you should get everything else too. Make sure to reset everything back to zero, but ensure that the pot is clean. So let's do a little bit of vacuuming. So we got our vacuuming done. Now we're ready for the next step. You saw that my grease pan is a terrible mess. What I'm gonna do is replace that tin foil, heavy foil like we talked about before. And then I'm going to empty out my grease bucket. I'm just gonna dump that into a double zip gallon or double zip baggie and dispose of that. And I'm gonna bring back a couple of paper towels and I'm gonna show you what's next. All right, so I've replaced the foil on my grease pan. As you can see here, make positively sure that you don't have any tears on your foil when you do this. If you have any tears on this, then you kind of eliminated the purpose of the foil. All that grease is just gonna go right into the actual pan underneath. Okay, so actually before we do that, forgot about the baffle. Everything is super simple, super fast. This procedure, I wanted to mention, I do after every single cook, guys. Every single cook, I don't miss. I've had this grill for a couple years and it has seen a lot of meat. And that's the reason why it's still fully operational after all the abuse, is I really take care of it, okay? So I'm gonna try and set this back up. So that's ready to cook again. That includes pellets. I'm gonna put in my pellets right now. Just go ahead and fill it up so that when I'm ready to cook, this is ready to go. That's what I want. When I'm ready to cook, I'm ready to cook. I don't want to be futzing around. Okay, so there's that. Now I mentioned the paper towels. There's two things that are really important with this. The first thing, the probe. This probe on the side here, make sure and wipe this probe after every single cook. This probe runs the temperature for the grill. This is what controls the temperature for the grill. So make sure that that guy's clean. Now with the other one, what I'm gonna do, because I don't store it with the bucket on the grill. It's too easy to get it knocked off of there when you put the cover on there. So I'm making a little plug just to make sure that it doesn't continue to drip onto the concrete. Okay, so now that that plugs in there, I can now take this out and put it underneath the grill. My other grill has a little shelf on there. This is the new one, so it doesn't have a shelf yet. But my other grill, you can buy shelves for it. I just made mine. I just made I took a measurement, cut a piece of wood, stained it, put it underneath there just to get everything off the ground. And that includes the buckets, okay? So now we're ready. Over here, you can see I've got a little bit of this grill hanging off. So what I need to do is turn this guy around. We're almost ready to take this out. When we come right back here, we're gonna take this out, put it in here, and we'll start scraping it away, and then we'll have one more step after that. We'll be right back. All right, we're ready for the last step. Not everybody is gonna do this. This is something that I do. I let this grill grate cool down. It's been sitting here for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, so what I've got here is beef brisket fat. The next video I'm gonna go from beginning to end with brisket. This is from the drippings. So I'm gonna show you how to make this in the next video when we talk about brisket, okay? So here's one of the things that I like to do with this stuff. I'm gonna put this on a paper towel. There we go, okay? So I'm gonna put this on a paper towel, spread it on there with a knife. And then I'm gonna season this grill, okay? For some of you, you may not cook very often with your grill. I cook very often with this grill, but this just adds a little bit of protection to that grill and keeps a little bit of fat on there, keeps it oiled up. Okay, so this is now done, ready to cover up and put away. So real quick before I forget, I mentioned that plug, this plug right down here that I put in here for the grease bucket spout. Don't forget to take that out the next time you cook, because that will dramatically affect how this thing cooks. Ask me how I know. Okay, so the next step that we're going to talk about is a maintenance cleanup. My other grill hasn't had a real good maintenance cleanup. It's been running hard for about 2 years. It's ready, so I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna bring my other grill in, and we're gonna talk about that. We'll be right back. All right, guys, I hope you're ready for some cleaning. Like I said, this guy is ready. Hasn't been really deep clean for a couple of years. I've introduced previously some of this stuff here. So I've got all of my really good cleaning stuff, my 3-inch brush, little brush, and my spatula. This spatula, well, I mean, if we just do that, you can see it. I mean, this guy is super filthy, okay? So I'm going to, first of all, you already know how to clean this. That's already been cleaned. We've already talked about the grease pan. That's already been cleaned. Okay. This guy and this guy. This, don't forget this. I'm gonna take this off, this little hat for the chimney. You can see all the buildup in there. I'm gonna take this and that baffle, I'm gonna take it over to the sink. It's a lot easier to take care of there. It's small. I'm gonna put it over there, clean it up with just regular dish soap and dry it off really well. And those are gonna be done. I'm gonna use that brush for this stack, cleaning out the stack. And then I'm going to be using this stuff everywhere else. The combination of this and my painter spatula. You may, depending on your use, you may want to do this every year. I'm doing this, you know, like I said, it's been 2 years, but you may not have to do this depending on your use, but every 5 years. So it's really dependent on how you use your grill. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to cleaning. All right, inside's done, guys. It was literally that easy. It's just a whole lot of scraping and stuff like that. Take the vacuum, suck out everything and all that. The reason why it doesn't take very much time is because I clean it after every single cook. So it's not a terrible disaster in the first place, okay? So there's not a whole lot of heavy lifting that's gotta take place. Now we're gonna work on the outside. So we're using the Simple Green barbecue cleaner, paper towels, and blue Scotch-Brite. We talked about blue Scotch-Brite in the equipment introduction. The reason why, the Scotch-Brite comes in several colors, okay? And the color refers to how abrasive it is. Not everybody knows that. You wanna use the blue because if you use the green, like what's on the back side of your kitchen sponge, you're gonna scratch this paint. We don't wanna scratch the paint. We want everything to just be clean. That's what we're after here, okay? So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna use this. Over the top of this, we're gonna give this all a scrub, and we're gonna wipe it clean. Let's go. All right, guys, we're all done. As you can see, we got, because it's a Traeger and the color of it looks like a brand new shiny penny, right? This whole cleanup, the maintenance cleanup, it was about 30 minutes. And the main reason why it's only 30 minutes is I religiously clean it out after every single cook, which also takes about 20-30 minutes. After every single cook, I clean it out and I keep it covered up, okay? This maintenance thing is just lightning fast, and we got a brand new grill, okay? So the main takeaway here is take care of your equipment. It'll take care of you. All right, guys, we talked about a lot in this episode. If you have any questions about anything that you saw, hit me up in the comments. I'm hoping that by explaining all of this stuff, you'll be more confident about grilling and in the future episodes too. That's, like I said in the very beginning, that's the goal of this, is to just get you cooking. So as a reminder, all the links to all the equipment that I'm using is down in the show notes. I put it all down in the show notes. They're not affiliate links. If you can't tell by now, I'm not much of a YouTuber. Maybe someday I'll grow up and I'll be a YouTuber, but that's not today. On the next one, I alluded to it before, on the next one we're cooking brisket. It's comprehensive, but you're going to learn everything about brisket from beginning to end. We're going to be cooking 2 smoked briskets and a crock pot brisket. We're going to be talking about tallow. We're going to be talking about what I do with the drippings. We're going to be talking about a lot. All right. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.